Welcome back to Let's Think About It with Dr. E. We don't just talk about things, but we challenge your intellect. We challenge how you see things. We challenge what is right in front of you. But today we want to peel back the layers, and today's episode is going to be raw, uncut, and unfiltered. Today we're going to talk about don't fall for the trap, the aftermath of losing Kamala Harris for the African American woman pushing through. The aftermath has been real, y'all. It's been something that I think we've had to go through this process. It's grief. There's rejection. I was in a conversation with someone the other day, and they asked me the question, how are we going to make it? We're going to make it like most African American women do. We push through to the other side. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about the aftermath. What does it look like after a loss, and how can we bounce back? But before we go any further, I need for you to head over to YouTube. I need for you to subscribe. I need for you to like. I need for you to share. Right now, you're only going to find Let's Think About It with Dr. E only on YouTube. So go right now and subscribe. Share this with your family. This is the holiday season. Some of you are going to be going through loss. Some of you are going to be going through grief. Some of you, this is going to be a topic of conversation at the holiday table. But I don't want you to miss anything. So go to YouTube right now and subscribe. So today we're diving into what cuts deep, and we call it the aftermath. The news hit us hard. Kamala was an icon. She was a symbol of resilience. But I told somebody what she did in 107 days, only a woman could have done that. I'm sorry. So for you men who are tuned in, I'm not throwing you to the side. But she took what was left over and she grew it. She multiplied it from millions to billions. Only a woman could have done that. She had a strategy, she had a plan. For everybody that said that they didn't know her plan, they didn't know her strategy. I don't know what planet you were living on. I don't know what stations you were watching. But she was clear. But I realized, I told someone, America, the United States of America, is just not ready for a woman to lead. The Queen led England for over 70 years. So you have all these other nations and countries who have women at the helm of leading them. We're just not ready because America is only ready for a white man to lead. Barack Obama took him by storm because of his intellect, and he's multiracial. So let's be clear. He goes for African American, but you all saw a melting pot with his family. So he was acceptable because some people didn't accept him truly as being African American. So let's just be honest with that. But he didn't win on that. He won because he was smart, but he had a black woman behind him named Michelle Obama who pushed him. And he is not afraid to tell you, it was Michelle who encouraged him. It was Michelle who pushed him. So for all you who really think that a woman doesn't have a voice, she may not have to always be in the front, but she's going to always lead from behind. Let me say it again. She doesn't always have to lead from the front, but she can always lead from behind. That's just who we are. Now, I'm not here to debate policy. I'm here to have a real conversation about what this means for the African American woman pushing through it all. It's not just about job loss. It's about the trap that comes with the system. You see, the system was never designed for a woman. We get paid 50 cents on every dollar that every male makes, be it white or black. We have to pull ourselves up from the bottom to the top. We have to work beyond 5 to prove ourselves that we can be on the team. We have to do the extra mile stuff just to be recognized. So it wasn't about the fact that she wasn't qualified. It was the fact that, do we want a woman of this intellect, this woman of this much power and influence running our country? And the fact that you said, how are we going to answer to a woman? Well, most men that tell me that are married, that say to me, my wife tells me what to do. I know some of you men might not want to admit it, but I know your wife probably She guides you. So let me rephrase that. She guides how you do things. She encourages us. Baby, I think we should do this. Somebody who's my dad age, my mom says, no, honey, this is what we're going to do. And my dad says, okay. But they've been married for 50-some years. So he's used to it. He's settled. It doesn't bother him. So some of you all, your mom told you what to do. She didn't encourage, because moms don't encourage. They just tell, this is what you're going to do. So how can we formulate our mouths for some men and say, I just cannot take orders or take directions from a woman? Just a question. Is your boss a female? You ain't got to answer. You ain't got to put no comment in the thread. You married? You got a daughter? Most men that have a daughter, that daughter's going to boss you around. She's going to tell you what to do. Let's just be honest. So the system is set up that we can aspire and climb and hold our own weight to entire communities on our back. But when it comes to running something, we got to fall back because they're not ready for our voice. We're told to celebrate the first as if it's being first isn't already a setup from the beginning. You see, women, we've always been first, but we've been looked at as being last. But here's the thing. This is not the end of the story for us. And it can't be for any of us. We're here to break the game and hold this to its play. See, the traps before us says not today. The trap says we're just not ready. The trap says we'll try it and see how it goes. The trap says come back later. The trap says leave it and then the team will discuss it. The trap says it's not your time. The trap says maybe if it was a different era. That's the trap. So the trap has always pulled us in to say it's just not our time. So what do we do now? First, let's acknowledge the power in the moment. That was a movement that we had not seen for African American women and women in a whole in a long time. I've never seen the day that they announced that she was running, that she would be the candidate for the Democratic Party. They called a Zoom that very Sunday night. The Zoom crashed because 70,000 women were trying to get on this one Zoom call to support the very decision that a woman was going to run. And then from there, it took off like wildfire. So I asked myself the question, is it the fact that we're not ready? Or was she just too smart? Was she just too qualified for them? I choose to believe the second. She just had too much to offer and they just wasn't ready for her. She had too much intellect in her mind. You see, she was a prosecutor. She's an attorney. She served in the Senate. She's just done too much for them. I think if she hadn't been so vocal, and she was very confident in who she was, very poised when she came to the stage, very confident in what she was saying and able to deliver. You see, for many of us, when we walk into a room, especially black women, we walk into a room with confidence. And I often tell our young ladies when I see them, hold your head up. No. Don't you walk into this room as if you're a second-class citizen. You were born for this moment. You were made for this. Walk into the room like you own the room. Don't fall for the trap. It's not your time. No, walk into it like you own it. They tell me not today. I'm going to tell them, you know what? You're right. It's not today. And for real, it's really not going to be today or tomorrow because I'm not going to allow you to use me whenever you get ready. So you've got to allow yourself not to be one of those pawns in their hand. You got to be confident in what you say and walk into the room, into the moment and own it. You see, we were made for this. We were created in God's image to be the first. You were birthed into this world through a woman. I don't want us to get that construed. I don't want you to get confused. Contrary to popular opinion, you were birthed into this universe through a woman, by a woman. That's it. I don't care if you did artificial insemination, IVF. I don't care if you did a surrogate. It was a woman who carried the egg and the sperm, and you were birthed into this world. So let's be clear on that. So for you to say a woman can't carry it, oh, she carried your baby. Some of you carried you 9 months. Some of you, she may carry you 6 months, 5 months, 8 months. Whoever, how many months it worked, she carried you. And then she pushed you into this world. You may have a C-section, but however you came into this world by a woman who nurtured you and carried you. Now you may say, but my mom didn't raise me. I was raised by my grandmother. I was raised in the system through foster care. I was adopted. However it came, a woman birthed you. So now, as we acknowledge that African American women have been asked to show up strong and just smile through the struggle, many of us are tired of just smiling through. For so long we've been smiling and we've not been acknowledged. But sister, I don't want you to stop smiling, because it is that smile that's going to get you through every challenge and opportunity that you're going to face. It's the smile that's going to help you to acknowledge, I'm not just anybody, but I'm somebody who was made for this moment. I was created for this. So smiling through the struggle, being put first, is not something we put to the sideline. I need for you to hold it in the middle of the road. When you walk onto the field, when you walk onto the stage, you're not on the side. I'm going to show up in the middle of the stage because I want to be seen. I want you to know I have arrived for the moment in time. You matter. Don't fall for the trap that it's not my moment to shine. I'm going to shine every day I get up. I may not put on makeup every day. I may not dress every day like I'm going to a table at a convention center or I'm going to a board meeting. But every day I get up, I shine. You know why I shine? Because it was in him I live and move and have my being. He breathed into me the breath of life. And my life and your life became a living soul. So every day I get up, I tell the Lord, thank you for waking me up this morning. Thank you for giving you the activities of my limbs. Thank you for putting food on my table. This is testimony service. Thank you for giving me for putting food on my table, the activities of my limbs. And thank you for giving me another day. Thank you, Lord. I know some of you saying, but I don't have anything to be thankful for. Yes, you do. Every day you open your eyes, tell the Lord thank you. It may not be the circumstance that you were hoping for. It may not be the living arrangements that you've always wanted. But tell the Lord thank you, because it could have been another way. Because sometimes it's the small things that we have to appreciate. Appreciate your life. It may not be what you want at this moment, but your life matters. Appreciate where you are in your career. You may not be at the table that you want to be at, but tell the Lord thank you. This may not be the opportunity, the door you were expecting, but tell the Lord thank you. This may not be the relationship you want to be. Tell the Lord thank you and leave that relationship and say, Lord, send me Mr. Right. Whatever the opportunity is, you need to be thankful in that moment. Because in every moment, we need to give thanks. Because it could have been another way. We are redefining what strength looks like. Not as resilience that wears us down, but as resilience that lifts us up. There is a difference. So let me say this loud and clear. We are not stopping here. Kamala's story isn't the beginning or the end. It's a chapter. Let me say that again. Her story is a chapter in the book that many other African American women, that we're all going to write a chapter in this book. And one day when this book is finished, it's going to tell the stories of how we made it over, how our struggle got us to where we are. We are writing the next one together. Here's what we need in the moment to keep it in the forefront. The loss isn't defeat. It's a call to reimagine your future, to see ourselves as more than a symbolic or a statistic. to move from survival to thriving. You've got to understand that your moment in time is now. Ladies, this isn't about getting even, but it's rising higher. I know we all want to get back. I know we want to get over. I know we want to say, what can I do next? I know there was a lot of anger, there's a lot of rage, disappointment that came with it. And I'll be honest with you, it took me a few days just to wrap my head around what happened, what took place. I asked myself the question like you, how did this happen? But I don't want you to get caught in the trap. Because what they want us to do, they want us to get caught up in the what happened. They want us to get caught up in how did it happen. They want us to get so caught up in why she lost and how she lost. No, I need for you to start thinking now, what are we going to do moving forward? What is our strategy? What is our comeback to say, listen, we're not going to stop running for office. Let's just be clear. We're not going to stop running for seats in government. We're not going to stop running for seats in the Senate and the Congress. We're not going to stop running for governors and mayors and even presidents. We're not going to stop. So let's just be clear, that's not going to happen. We're going to keep pushing because to one day, I don't know when, one day we're going to make it to that very top seat in these United States of America. When is that going to happen? I don't know, but we're not going to stop. Because guys, the more that we understand that our voice matters, the more I need for us to understand we can't stop. And for our men who are tuned in, must I say there is some disappointment on my end for some of you. You didn't get behind her and push to the end. Maybe if you would have pushed on the front end, just maybe, we could have seen a cohesiveness in the men and women following her. Just a thought. But men, every time you see a woman, support her. When she's starting her business, show up. Whatever she does, be present. Appreciate what she does for your family. Appreciate what she does in the business. Appreciate what she does for you. Because there are some men who would love to have a woman just like yours. And women, there are some women that would love to have a man just like yours because he supports you. So we can't stop in this moment because we understand that life is a cycle. We have wins and we have losses. That is the cycle of life. We're going to win some things and we're going to lose some things. And if we understand that brings balance in our life. I can't win everything. And I understand that. But I'm surely not going to lose at everything. But I am going to take some losses. I'm going to take some L's in my life. I absolutely will. But I've got to learn from my losses, learn from my struggles, learn from my letdowns, and don't fall for the trap that my loss is like a vortex. It sucks me in, and I'm never going to get beyond where I am because my loss didn't matter. I realized something, that my failures are only stepping stools to my next level. Don't allow your failures to be your defeat. Let me say it again. Do not allow your failures to be your defeat. Whenever you look at defeat or failures as a loss, you're going to see yourself in a trap. You're going to see yourself start to now sink into that depressed mode saying, how did I get here? How can I get myself out of this? Because I was born for greatness, but right now I don't see greatness on the horizon. I was destined to do great and big things in my life, but every time I try to go through a door, one gets slammed in my face. And every time I try to have a conversation with this person, I never get a return call. Every time I try to get a seat at the table, they tell me not this month, try next month. But listen, don't stop, because one day the door is going to open. One day that seat at the table is going to open up for you. One day you're going to find yourself in a moment of opportunity of a lifetime. And you're going to say, every failure and every disappointment prepare me for this moment. I hope that Vice President Kamala Harris doesn't give up and not try the opportunity. But I know that she's not going to walk out of the office on January the 20th and go home and do nothing. She's just not that type of person. She said in her speech that we're going to keep fighting and we're going to keep pushing because we got to ensure that policies go forward. Now, I know some of you are saying, but we're up against a fight for our life. We absolutely are. But I just believe that even in all the chaos, even all this election, who's getting ready to take the helm, I choose to believe that God is still in control. He's going to have the final say. I know it looks like he has won and he's going to get his way in every area. But as a friend of mine who said, a pastor, he said the king still has one more move. I believe that. The king has one more move. He hasn't played that move yet. So we've got to understand that God is still in control of everything. For the word of God tells us that all things work together for the good of them who are called, who love him. I need for you to know it's working together for our good. We may not see it. We may not understand it, but it's going to work together for our good. Trust and believe. God has a plan just in store for you and I. We're not just going to break ceilings, but create new floors for those coming after us. So as we push forward, remember this. Don't fall for the trap. Keep moving. Keep reaching. But let's ensure we're doing it on our own terms. Nobody's going to dictate for us how we're going to do it. We're going to do it our way. So in this episode, remember this. Stay strong. Stay savvy. Keep fighting. And don't you fall for the trap. And remember, you heard it on Let's Think About It with Dr. E. I'll see you in the near future. Have an amazing day.